Welcome to another episode of Dolphins in Depth, a podcast brought to you by the Miami Herald. Today, going to be one of my favorite guests just because he's one of my mentors in this business. We're here to discuss the quarterback contract landscape and really the importance of OTAs with my partner, Clarence Hill, columnist for the Fourth Worth Star Telegraph, covers the Dallas Cowboys. Clarence, how's the weather doing in Dallas?
Oh, it's hot. It's in the 90s already. So it's the thermostat is low and our electric bill's going up. But yeah, it's already hot in Dallas.
Brother, that's my everyday existence
Well,
here
at
in
least
Miami.
you can go get in water. You can go jump in the water.
And that's true. Your whole state looks like it needs some lotion. The
Yeah.
whole state.
We can't go jump in the water. Okay. So you got the beautiful Miami beaches and Fort Lauderdale beaches. You can at least cool off. There is no respite from the heat here. So we have tornadoes, rain, and heat.
We only got hurricanes. Y'all might get hurricanes too.
In the fall, but right now it's tornado season. So it's been tornadoes. And I don't know if you saw the tornadoes tearing up Houston this past week, but yeah, it's tornado, rain, and then the heat. It goes from rain, we got hail, and then it's like searing summer temperatures. So it is what it is. But that's what it's like at this time, starting in May, June, July, August. That's when the Cowboys go to California for training camp.
Yeah, no, the Dolphins, we prefer to sit in the sauna down here in Miami. So it supposedly gives us a great competitive advantage.
Work smarter, not harder. Work smarter, not harder. See, they like to get good quality work.
Yeah. Let's talk about this offseason program. And you've covered the league for how many years now, Clarence?
I've been covering the league since 97.
97. So you know the value of OTAs. Tell me the value of OTAs.
So, I got 4 playoff wins on my resume. I just want to let you know I started covering the Cowboys after the Super Bowl title.
Hey,
I got 4 playoff wins on my watch.
I might have 4 playoff appearances on my watch. Okay. No wins.
Okay, so we the Jinx. But the OTA, it's changed so much, So when I first started covering the team, it was real practices, and then it became voluntary, and the famous quote from a Florida native, Darren Hambrick, what do voluntary mean? It's like, you don't have to show up, but we call it OTA, we call the mini camps the underwear Olympics, because it's just t-shirts and shoulder pads, shorts, running around, and if you can't look good in t-shirts and shorts, everybody's supposed to look good in t-shirts and shorts.
Not cornerbacks, because it's 7-on-7s.
You can't really bump and run. People get in trouble. We lost the OTA day because they too much, bump and run. You really can't go against each other. So you can't do that. Anymore. You can't do this stuff. So somebody was trying to get me to come on the podcast. Let's do a recap of OTAs. I say, all we're gonna see is where they lined up. You really can't get any real analysis.
And you can't talk about where they lined up, at least in Dolphins rules.
Right. You can't talk about where they lined up. So you really can draw no real conclusions on I like people, how they look and who's doing well. It's OTAs. If a receiver can't run down the field and catch a ball,
but Clarence,
OTAs, why is he on the team?
You got special access that nobody else has. You were one of 20 people out there watching practice, not affiliated with the team. They need to know what it looks like.
Yes. If a dude in his 20s cannot run down the field and catch a ball against no defense, against air, running plays, I don't know what to tell you.
Hey, listen, I remember one veteran told me when he was finished playing with the Miami Dolphins, he's like, you know how we always praise that we got perfect attendance for OTAs? He's like, yeah, the veterans, we show up when we know the media's coming, and then when we're not there, we don't show up.
Exactly. Hey, the game is the game.
Yeah, man. Listen, but OTAs is always a great time for players to sort of, because the NFL, this is about taking care of your business in the offseason.
Right,
They don't want you doing contracts during the season. They don't want you to be distracted. But now, when a player misses OTAs, like Tua Tagovailoa supposedly did last week, skipping some practices, what's the intent there?
Well, the intent is to get paid. I'm old school and different, because I remember when Lamar Jackson did it, and I'm like, To me,
Oh, that was like last year.
right, last year. So I think quarterbacks should be in OTAs because they're so important to what they do. It's hard to really get anything done, even just running the offense and plays. When your quarterback's not there, especially we got to do offense coordinator. Like, by the way, we're starting to do offense coordinator. Just find the offense coordinator and your quarterback in the OTAs. Obviously, it's incumbent on the team to get his business taken care of so he can be there. But it is different, and so for quarterbacks, like Tua, who's in the contract year trying to get paid, and how do you put pressure on a team to get you done? But at the end of the day, the goal is to win, and how do you show leadership and really get this team ready to take the next step if your quarterback is not there?
Now, everybody's talking about the new quarterback money out there. When we saw Kirk Cousins and we were discussing this earlier, and I say this all the time, we won't know what a quarterback is truly valued until one actually hits the open market. And do you know the last quarterback that's ever hit the open market twice is now Kirk Cousins? Right. First, he got the first fully guaranteed deal in the NFL. And then last year, coming off an Achilles injury, the man got $180 million over 4 years and pretty $100 million guaranteed over 2. So that let us know kind of what the market for a quarterback is, especially somebody who's in his upper 30s coming off an injury. If Tua hit the open market, do you think that he could get a $45 million deal?
I was going to question about that. I mean, Daniel Jones got that, right? What Daniel Jones get? I mean,
he's at $40 million a year.
He got 40. So he's at 40. And they don't even know if they want him for the future. I mean, they're looking at this may be his last year. There's no question that Tua should be worth $45 million to the Dolphins in this scheme, in this system, and what they do.
But to the NFL?
Well, certainly, I think that's the going rate. I mean, that is not even top money at this point. Yeah, I mean, the top 10 quarterbacks are making over 50. And so $45 million is to me that's the low rung of what quarterbacks are making.
When we're talking about average per year, Joe Burrow sits at the top at $55 million. Then you got Jared Goff with his new deal, $53 million. Patrick Mahomes, which is a little surprising, but then he's got a $500 million deal. He's making $52.6 million. Then you got Justin Herbert, 52.5, Lamar Jackson, 52, Jalen Hurts, 51. And then everybody under them, which is the Kyler Murrays, the Deshaun Watson, the Kirk Cousins, are at $46 or $45 million.
Listen, when Dak signed his deal in 2020, no, it was 2021. This isn't even that long. His $40 million deal was the second richest contract in NFL history. And certainly Mahomes, was making more money over the lifetime of the deal because it sounded a long deal. But everybody said at the time that Mahomes had a bad deal, that these guys are going to make more over the lifetime than what Mahomes is going to make over his contract because he signed too early. He signed if there can be a team friendly whatever $500 million deal, it was a team friendly deal, and because it's a 10-year deal. But yeah, it has jumped exponentially. And I know we talked about here in Dallas in 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020. You go back to 2019, look what the quarterbacks were making. 2020, what the quarterbacks were working. It was not even in the 30 millions at that point.
Yeah.
And then it jumped, and the Cowboys had a chance to sign Dak early and didn't.
Mm-hmm.
And part of that, obviously the quarterbacks, and once the money started jumping, Dak's agent wasn't going to let him sign early because it takes two to tango.
Absolutely. No question about that. Now Dak is making $29 million in the final year of the 4-year, $160 million deal.
With a $59 million cap hit, though.
With a 59, yeah, and that's important.
This year. Well, so just go back just for a minute. When the Cowboys initially signed Dak to a 4-year, $160 million deal, with a $59 million cap hit in the final year of the deal, it was done with the express intention to redo the deal before the last year. So to lower the cap number, obviously sign him to an extension, okay? We're in the last year of the deal, and they did not redo the deal. And so he has a $59 million cap hit, which has hamstrung them from signing other players because you have a $59 million cap hit on your salary cap. The goal was to sign him to an extension before this. They have not done that, and that's why they.
So what fell apart? Is Dak and his camp asking for too much? Is it about having to pay for the receiver and Micah Parsons and the rest of the roster? What's hamstrung? What's kept this
all
kid
of that?
from getting?
I mean, I think all of it is part of it. They kicked the can down the road for years, and now the money's come due from all of them. I mean, they're still paying. They re-signed Zeke Elliott, okay, to a bargain basement deal, and he's still on their cap in dead money with $6 million from years prior.
Yeah.
Okay, so they basically got 2 cap charges for Zeke Elliott this year. So, they got a lot of, and it's not just this year for the Cowboys. Going to the next year, they got a lot of stuff that's coming due. The chickens are coming home to roost, so to speak, as far as their contracts are concerned, which has them hamstrung. So, yeah, but they want to get CD done. They want to get Micah done. They want to get Dak done. And there's also the notion of the market for Dak, because he has all the leverage. He has no trade clause. He has a no tag clause. You're looking at all the deal, at least according to Joe Corey and some guys out there, the Dak's market could be $60 million.
Yeah.
And they don't want to pay top market.
Yeah, it's 2 contracts that are out there. Other than everybody knows Tua is probably the next guy or should be the next guy up. But Trevor Lawrence deal, he's looking at probably a $300 million deal. And then Dak, who's probably going to, for the second time, set the pace of NFL contracts. Say what you want about Dak Prescott, but there's a lot of teams out there that would probably like his services if he hit the open market. And it looks like they're staring at the open market. Do you think that there's a possibility that a deal with Dak could get done before they begin the regular season?
I think it's a possibility. Is the Cowboys like to say, deadlines make deals, and the problem is they haven't really had any real talks, but it could get done. I know Jerry does not want to go back into the quarterback abyss between Tony Romo and Troy Aikman, where he doesn't really want to go 4-12 to get in line to suck for Tua or some of these other quarterbacks that are out there. And really the next year's quarterback market certainly is not what last year's quarterback market was. And so, you have no choice, but the Cowboys are trying to win the deal. They don't necessarily want to pay Dak top dollar. His agent certainly wants it's agent's job to get the most money for not just for Dak, but for all the quarterbacks, for the NFLPA, for the union, so the floor continues to rise. I mean, that's your job. And I'm sure the NFLPA and other players want that to get the most money because that rises everybody else's contract.
Yeah.
Dak has been paid. He's been paid top money. There's the thought process among the Cowboys. Well, you already got your deal. We need to pay CD top money. We need to pay Micah top money. Maybe you can take less. My question is, what's less? What's palatable? It ain't gonna be $40 million.
No,
it's not gonna be $45 million. So is 52 palatable? Is 55 palatable?
I mean, 52 would get him number 2 spot behind Joe Burrow. The question is, I think in this market and this climate, and we see it in both of these deals in terms of Dak and Tua, the bar is 50. Whether you agree with it or not, whether you think the player is worth it or not, the quarterback bar is $50 million. And here's one interesting point. They're just making a tremendous amount of money. Jared Goff, let me ask you this question, Clarence. Where would you put Jared Goff in the hierarchy of NFL quarterbacks?
It's funny because there's, my problem here is there's so much Dak hate, and there are people who actually think Jared Goff is better than Dak, and he deserves his money, but Dak doesn't because he's been to a Super Bowl and he got the NFC Championship game. So Trent Dilfer's better than Dan Marino. I mean, what are we talking? People lose their mind over he's had this success in the playoffs, understanding football's a team game, and so they're again. I think Jared Goff is a top 10 quarterback, maybe.
Maybe? Really? Hold on, wait a minute.
What do you got? Let's call him out because it's tough. I mean, where do you put Matt Stafford? Where do you put Kirk Cousins?
Hold on. Okay. Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow. I think we can debate a little bit about CJ Stroud and Brock Purdy, but I put them up there. And then I'm in the Jalen Hurts crowd. We could argue a little bit about Justin Herbert. Maybe Aaron Rodgers. Do you put him in the top 10? Where do you sit on?
Aaron Rodgers is top 10 emeritus.
Okay, so I have
he's healthy. He's top 10. Let's be honest about that.
Yeah, and I have Dak at number 10. I have Dak right up there at number 10. So maybe we could argue about C.J. Stroud and Brock Purdy, but Brock Purdy's taking his team pretty high level for the last 2 years.
Defensive league. They not asking him to win games. We can talk about that all we want to, but they're not asking him to win games.
Okay, so right now, Dak is my bottom basement line for the top 10 quarterbacks, and then we got the Kirk Cousins, the Matthew Staffords, the Jared Goffs, the Tuas, the Jordan Loves, and the Trevor Lawrences, and they're all demanding $50 million.
They all make that's what it is. And like I said, you got Jalen Hurts like a bullet in the top 10. Now, I don't know that he's had one good year.
Yes, that's true. That's fair. I mean, but his team is relatively relevant, except for when they fell apart last year.
Right. Why did they fall apart last year?
Defense was shoddy. Not. I mean, you would know better than me because you.
Okay. What did they do offensively though? I mean, what did he do offensively? I mean, that's what we get down. I mean, I'm saying when it comes to that, I mean, what you defense shoddy, but what you doing? Aren't you supposed to elevate them if you that guy?
Yeah, I mean, but we can say that about so many other quarterbacks.
I know that's part of the whole quarterback conversation. But so when I say top 10, but I mean, I guess he's in that conversation, because people have him in that conversation around Prescott and Kirk Cousins and Matt Stafford and I would say Hurts and Purdy and all of them are right in that they're in that same tier.
Yes, but Jared Goff, and this is something that I when I was looking through his contract, I was just like, man. He got $170 million in guaranteed money. He's going to get that money. And then if you put what he's earned as the first overall pick when the Rams took him, and he was a disastrous rookie season, then the new contract that the Rams got that they unloaded to Detroit. When you put all of his career earnings together with the $170 million that he's going to get from the Lions, I do think the Lions overpaid because it's Detroit. So you're paying a Detroit price on that. He's going to walk away with $330 million in career earnings. Could you have imagined when you began your career, or hell, 5 years ago, that a top 10, arguably quarterback, number 10, is going to make $330 million?
I can't make it, but I'm done with making sense of who deserves what, because we get caught up in deserving. Because I was just looking at something today. Because I'm in the basketball right now, just because the Mavericks are going, and there was a list of the top 15 contracts in the NBA. There's only one player who's still in the playoffs, and that's Rudy Gobert.
Yeah,
you got a guy like Bradley Beal, making $47 million. $47 million because he was the leading scorer in Washington. They gave him his max contract. Bradley Beal is a number 3. He's making Kevin Durant and Steph Curry money, $47 million. So none of it makes sense, and so what Goff is making, is mind-boggling. But what Kirk Cousins, when he first got the fully guaranteed deal, that was mind-boggling. He's a former fourth-round pick like Dak, coming out of nowhere. And the beauty of Kirk and Dak is they had the short deal, because they only had 4-year deals to start out, so they got all of their money. A lot of these contractors
and they had to survive the tag for a couple of years,
right? But yes, and they had to survive the tag, and so that's what's driving Dak's contract up, because the Cowboys have to tag him, at like 140% of the the deal, and so that's why it would be a $60 million deal. That's why that's part of the conversation. But unlike some of these other rookie deals, when you have to tack on the rookie contract on top of the new money. Like Dak and Cousins never had to tack on a rookie contract on top of the new money. It was all straight new money. So when you see these like Tua, you sign him now, yes, he's gonna get a $45 million deal. But once you put the last year's rookie deal, because the first round pick on top of it, it brings the per year value down.
People don't understand that, Clan. Don't even bother. Don't even bother, because they don't understand it. Even Jared Goff's deal, they're like 4 years, $212 million. Well, he still got the existing year on it. It's really a 5-year deal,
right?
But
so that's what I'm saying. When Dak gets his money, it won't be no existing year at a lower rate. It will be straight cash, homie. It's all coming. It's just like his last deal. He getting all 160, 4 years, 160 every dime.
Yeah, man. It's a new day in the NFL. Here's one thing, and I wanted to get your perspective on it because I'm a big believer that Dallas Cowboys, they do drafting better than a lot of other teams. I'm not saying they're top 5, but they actually don't need a first-round pick to go find a quarterback. They don't need a first-round pick to go find a pass rusher. They can find proven quality players. Offensive line. They can find proven quality players throughout the draft. I give the Cowboys their flowers. I think they draft well. But do you believe that this era of draft a quarterback, have him young, and then build your franchise with free agents works?
I don't think there's one foolproof way, because we've seen it done so different. And I would say that yes, the Cowboys do draft well. I think they fell into Dak Prescott. He was like their 5th quarterback on their board, and they wanted other guys, and they didn't really know what they were getting. They fell into Tony Romo, who's an undrafted free agent.
Hey, that's a lot of falling luck, though.
They fallen well. They tripped and fallen well. Now sometimes you trip and fall into it. They tripped and fell into it. But
I do know about that. Yeah.
just tripped and fell. Look at here. But that's kind of what has happened. But you look at what the Texans done. I don't, Carolina is still kicking themselves. I don't. Joe Burrow's worked out. Is Trevor Lawrence worked out? What we thought it was, but there's so many misses. You go back to the 2021 quarterback last, like the Cowboys have Trey Lance. They're gonna give him. It's funny because the Cowboys are in a funny situation. Dak's in last year's contract. The whole coaching staff is last year's contract. Every quarterback on the roster in last year's contract. They traded a 4th-round pick for Trey Lance, who was a disappointment who San Francisco drafted to be their franchise quarterback.
Got beat out by Brock Purdy.
Gave up 3 first-round picks and then fell in the Brock Purdy. Okay,
yeah.
Mr. Irrelevant.
Yep.
Gave up 3 first-round picks for Trey Lance, fell into Brock Purdy. So the Cowboys are going to spend the offseason, which Mike McCarthy has to win to keep his job. Dak Prescott, at least right now, has to show he can take them deep in the playoffs to get a contract extension. But they're going to focus on the development of Trey Lance for the organization to see what they have in him for a coaching staff that may not be here for the benefit of that, because if Trey Lance is the quarterback next year, that means everything failed and everybody's gone.
No, listen, when I look at what the Cowboys are doing and the fact that they've been quiet all offseason, they didn't spend any money, it looks to me like it's win or reset. And,
right. And how do you win? How do you win when you've done nothing to improve the team?
Coach,
you're asking Dak to win. Show me you're a franchise quarterback when you're giving me no help to win with.
Coach better, player development. And you know why I say that? Because that's what I hear here.
That's what it is. This coach, you got to coach him up. Mike Zimmer's going to, revamp the defense and make this defense run stoppers. And, I love your talk about defensive tackles, because the Cowboys have no defensive tackles of note, but yet they have to stop the run because of the scheme. Mike Zimmer's scheme is going to all of a sudden make guys who are just guys into, run a Domicom suit types who are going to stop the run.
Yeah. Oh, they're going to rotate them and play them less so they can play better. I've heard that.
All of that. It just makes no sense to me. But yes, they're asked to coach better. They're asked to uplift, develop, the second year jump and develop guys and stuff like that. But yeah, Dak's been asked, show me you're a franchise quarterback with lesser players.
That is exactly. And you know what's funny? You're seeing Josh Allen be put in that position. You're seeing Justin Herbert be put in that position. And I don't think it's coincidental. Even with Dak's situation. Okay, you don't take care of Dak. Okay, no problem. But you're still not taking care of Micah. He's going to be the top pat. What are you waiting on? Like exactly.
Well, you got an extra year with Micah, because CD is the one that's up first, and so you got to take CD. But my thing is this: it's the same problem in Minnesota. Why would I invest $30 million into a receiver and don't know who the quarterback is going to be to maximize his earnings?
And why would that receiver want to be there?
Yeah, well, probably because of the money, but yes, ultimately yes. But yes, if I'm CD, why I want? Okay, you're gonna make me the highest paid receiver, but I might not have Dak next year. Who's gonna be throwing me the ball? And so when the Cowboys are not winning, you got a poor quarterback. Who they gonna point to? The man making the most money. Well, what's CD gonna do? So how do you justify making CD the highest paid player without securing his production to earn that type of money, that it worth the investment, by making sure you have a quarterback to get him the ball?
Yeah, definitely. It'll be interesting to see what happens with this quarterback landscape. I personally don't believe that anybody but Trevor Lawrence gets a new deal. And the only reason I think Trevor Lawrence is going to get a new deal is because he's in Jacksonville, which is not a major market. It's a small town market. He's a South Carolina. He's a Clemson product. So it's close logistically to what he knows. And obviously Jacksonville is going to have to overpay to keep their average quarterback.
He's average now.
Oh,
and you're not talking crazy, because he was supposed to be a can't miss prospect.
Yes,
and we call him Sunshine. We've been watching Sunshine since his freshman year in college, and he came on the scene. Size, athleticism,
not accuracy.
Arm. He has it all. Huh?
He don't have accuracy.
Well, that's it. But he's supposed to be that guy. Arm strength. He's a natural.
Yeah, no. I'm not a big believer in Trevor Lawrence. Never have been. I think accuracy has been there since Clemson. Accuracy issues have been there since Clemson, and I'm a big believer in give me the accurate quarterback. Now, would I love an accurate quarterback who rises to the occasion and plays clutch and delivers? And I know that's the reputation on Dak and the reputation on Tua. Neither one of them are rising to the occasion. And even though Tua's best victory probably of his career is against Dak, against Dallas last year.
Wow.
It is what it is, brother.
It's funny because I look back at that game from a different lens. I think that could have been Dak's MVP moment.
It could have been.
He brings them down, brings them back to win the game, takes the lead, and the defense gives it up and let Tua come down to win the game. But if the defense holds on, going on the road after that loss to Buffalo, winning that game, that could have been his quote-unquote MVP moment.
Man, and Tua the next week, he could have went and had an MVP moment against Lamar Jackson, but he didn't. So, coulda, woulda, shoulda. You got to take care of business in the NFL. And if you don't, then you become a $50 million quarterback where everybody questions whether or not you can finish, because that's basically where both of these quarterbacks are. Let me get your take on Neville Gallimore. The Miami Dolphins signed him from the Dallas Cowboys. Jag or player?
Well, he's been nothing but a Jag since he's been in Dallas. I mean, the numbers suggest that. I mean, I don't know. Was he signed to be a starter, rotational guy? He's really never been a starter here. He was always going to be a developmental guy, and he really never lived up to expectations. Where he works hard, great guy, great family, all the other stuff. But just look at the numbers, look at the production. I mean, he really tore his butt a little bit with the Cowboys. 2 years ago, he was they did a joint practice in Denver, and after the practice, he just talked about how he was tired in the air and everything else, and so there was a question about his own personal conditioning. He certainly came back last year, was in better condition, but just the production, the snaps just weren't the same.
Yeah. I look at the Dolphins, what they did on the defensive line after you lose Christian Wilkins, and I was not going to pay Christian Wilkins that. I'm sorry. Christian Wilkins was not a $24 million a year player to me. But when you sign 7 guys for $1.8 million deals, that's not necessarily going to solve your problem in terms of defense and stopping the run. But hey, who knows? Maybe somebody it plays with desperation and fire.
And they're both in the same boat, because I've been retweeting your stuff about stop and run, need to stop the run. I love. I would like for the Cowboys to have gone after the veteran that was in Atlanta last year.
Oh, Calais Campbell. Yeah.
He would be a good fit here as well. They lost Jonathan Hankins to Seattle, who's their run stopper, so to speak. They have a first round pick from a year ago in Mozzie Smith, who didn't do anything. And
he's not a nose tackle.
He's 330. He's supposed to be bench press 600 pounds. Why is he not a nose tackle?
He's not a nose tackle. He can't take on two.
Well,
you think he can take on two?
It's not what I think because I'm not a scout. And I don't. I'm not. It's not what It's what they said he was. It's what they told me he was. It's not my job.
Hey, you right.
They told me on draft day. Told Cowboy fans on draft day, this guy is a nose tackle. He gonna stop the run.
Okay.
They drafted this time. He did not do that. He lost 30 pounds and was a non-factor as a rookie. Now they bring in Mike Zimmer, and they're going to change how they play defense. Absolutely. And now he's going to take on two blockers and hold up blockers and different things. And now he's going to be a nose tackle. I just know that there's never been a first-round pick in Cowboys history outside of Randy White who had to move positions, who did not play. Now, there's some that started who didn't play well, but who did not play, didn't start more than 3 games as rookie, who became players.
We'll see. It's a long road for everybody, but OTAs is the beginning of that journey. What are you excited about this week in OTAs? Are you going to get your sneak peek?
The best thing about OTAs is the interviews for me. Because it's like, I mean, you're not going. It's again, it's the Underworld Olympics, but we get to talk to Michael Parsons if he shows up. Like he wasn't there today because Cowboys practice on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. They do have meetings today, the OTA prep week, and the Cowboy and Michael wasn't there. So he's in Dallas. I know he was at the Mavericks game on Sunday.
Is he eligible for extension or no?
Yeah, but yeah, he's
no. Because isn't he in the Waddle draft? He's in the Waddle draft.
He's 2 years away. Yeah, he's 2 years away. But you can sign him whenever. You can sign him early. But
no. Okay, no. That means he got the 50-year option, so he is eligible for an extension.
Yeah, for the next year. Like CD's 50-year option is coming up this year though. His 50-year option is 2 years away, but they have to commit to it now. So all I'm saying is, like he's going into his 4th year. CD's going to his 5th year. But him staying away has nothing to do with the contract. He's not mad about the contract. He knows he's getting his money. He's staying away because he's been traveling Europe. I don't know if you've seen him over there in China.
Oh, he's got a phenomenal podcast with CJ Stroud.
Right. So
listen, I'm all about these players. Maximize your marketability and your value, and get other things popping and percolating. Yeah, I'm sorry because football is not going to pay all your bills, especially when it's done.
Like he didn't come to the offseason program last year, so this is something he's done. Like he is enjoying the life of being Michael Parsons, enjoying the life of being a Cowboy, enjoying the life of being a celebrity. But he does work hard. He get his work in, but he's enjoying the life. Okay. And so, again, he was at the Mavericks playoff game on Saturday. So I'm wondering if he's going to be at OTAs this week, though he wasn't at practice. So when looking forward to OTAs, getting to talk to guys like that, getting to talk to Trey Lance, who the offseason is going to be all about it, and his perspective on really getting a chance to prove himself and stuff like that.
I always want to talk to the guys who got the adversity and the challenges, the Cam Smiths of the world.
I bring up Mozzie Smith. We still don't know why he lost 30 pounds. The coaches say they didn't tell me. Here's the guy with 330. When they drafted him in mid-season, he's under 300 pounds. You're a nose tackle. You drafted to stop the run, and you lost all his weight because you're trying to get to the quarterback. And no one knows why he lost all the weight.
That's where the money's at. Get the quarterback. You get to the quarterback like Christian Wilkins, you get $24 million. They don't pay nose tackles. Who pays a nose tackle?
If he don't become a nose tackle, he ain't gonna be in the league. He's never gonna be a pass rusher.
Obviously, he don't think so.
His get off is slow. You watch him; he can't get off. He don't get off the ball fast. Even losing the weight, he didn't get off the ball. So, if you don't get off the ball, then you need to stay there and plug the run.
Mozzie gonna silence you, Clarence.
I hope he does well. I'm just talking about what we know.
I wasn't a fan of him at Michigan. I looked at this film and I was like, nah, I'm good.
Yeah, it's not my job to project. I can only go what I've seen and what you've shown me.
Definitely. So, all right. Well, we appreciate you, Clarence Hill. You can find his work at the Fort Star Telegraph. We are both columnists for our newspapers and in a McClatchy family. So you're supposed to welcome me to the family, Clarence.
Well, listen, I'm so happy you're with McClatchy. I've been knowing you a long time. You was over at that dastardly Sun Sentinel and then you went off the reservation, did something with that other fool and everything else. But
he is a fool. He is a fool.
You've been my guy for a long time. I would like to work. I know how you really watch film on offensive line when y'all you're in the trenches. You're a guy.
I love the trenches. I love the trenches.
You love most people. Like they like skill position. You love the trenches. But yeah, no. Welcome to the McClatchy family. Miami Herald, the beacon of McClatchy. Y'all still holding up the banner for the rest of us out here. But welcome, man, and appreciate the things you do with the Dolphins, and hopefully, there will be a breakthrough for you. Hopefully, the Dolphins will win some on your watch.
I just want a playoff win. Just give me one.
They have no playoff wins?
No playoff wins in 24 years.
That's crazy. The Cowboy fans are so spoiled and so upset that they have no trips to the Super Bowl. They've got a few players. They got a lot of playoff appearances, trip to the playoffs, and everybody kicks their butt. Stephen A. and First Take should be talking about the Dolphins having no playoff wins.
Hold on. That's not fair. Because we was Tom Brady's little brother getting wedgies and noogies for 18 years.
It's not breakthrough. Jets got to the championship game one of them years.
Damn, why you gotta do that? There's Mark Sanchez as a quarterback too.
Somebody broke through once or twice. There was some breakthroughs. I mean,
Buffalo had a couple breakthroughs too.
Exactly. Cincinnati broke through a few. I mean, come on, you got to do something. Fall on it. Trip and fall in a playoff win.
They got to start. They got to solve their why we play bad in December and January.
That's crazy. No playoff wins in 20 years.
24 years.
24 years. The Cowboys have not been to the Super Bowl in 28 years, and that's like the worst thing that could happen here.
I can't even do that math. Last time Dolphins won the Super Bowl was 1987. So it's crazy, but we just keep tugging along.
Well, the McClatchy curse. Has any McClatchy paper won something yet?
Kansas City, brother.
Oh, that's right, Kansas City. The Chiefs in Philadelphia used to be. Are they still with us? I don't even know. But the Chiefs, the Chiefs are holding it down. All right, man.
All right. Well, appreciate you, Clarence, and we will talk again. This has been an episode of Dolphins in Depth.